we hope this semester that as we go through the book of Genesis, we get a real bird's eye view of what God's eternal purpose is. Genesis is probably one of the most studied books in the whole Bible, and especially chapters 1 and 2, because they have everything to do with the beginning. And in the book of Genesis, what we have here is a book of seeds. And these seeds are the seeds of all the great truths found in the Bible. And in the book of Genesis, all these seeds are found, and as you study them, you can trace them and their development through the Bible until their consummation in the book of Revelation. So let's start with just reading here, the Roman numeral 1 all together. Ready? Go. God's desire. Is to have a perfect man to express him in his image and to represent him with his authority. Okay, so in Genesis 1:26, how about brothers? You read 1:26 all together strongly. Ready? Go. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of heaven, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." Okay, so quickly here, let us, that us is the Trinity. God said, let us. He didn't say, let me. He said, let us make man in our, what's our? Plural. Our image. Quite interesting. Why is it plural? Again, this is the Trinity, the triune God, the triunity of Father, Son, and Spirit here. And He is making man in whose image? His image. God has an image, and He's making man in His image. And so I love this because you see here two key words in this verse, and you should underline them: image and dominion. Image and dominion. Say those two words: image and dominion. If you pick up these two words, you can pick up what God's eternal purpose is in these two words. You know, when you come to the university, you have to go pick up your ID. And without your ID here at the University of Texas, you just about can't do anything, right? Because you are not a citizen of the kingdom here. But if you have your ID, you can virtually do everything, right? This gets you into your dorm rooms, you go into the library, you go into Gregory Gym with your ID. Well, in God's eternal purpose, this is the real ID. Image and dominion. I hope you never forget. Your real ID is not that little piece of plastic you have in your back pocket, but it is, you are made in God's image and you are given God's dominion on this earth, okay? ID. Say that. ID. One more time. Image and dominion. Say it. Image and dominion. Okay, so we are made in the image of God, just as a glove, which I brought, is made in the image of a... Right? So, you know, this glove was created with one particular purpose. And it looks very much like this. But what's the difference? One is in the image, and one has the reality. Right? Does this glove have any power in itself? Is there any power in the glove itself to express what's in the hand? So, because man was made in the image of God, and he was given God's dominion, eventually He placed man in front of the tree of life. Okay? And the tree of life... Let's go ahead and read this quickly here. I want you to get this. This is a key point. Genesis 2, 8 and 9. Let's all read these two verses together. Ready? Go.
Jehovah God caused to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight
underlined tree of life, and then I asked the question, where was it? Where was the tree of life? Where in the garden? Do you think there was some emphasis there? Some focus there? Some direction there about this tree? There were a lot of trees, but this tree was somewhere particular. Where? Say it. In the middle. In the middle. It was right in the very middle of the garden, so that there was the obviousness of the importance of that tree. And eventually God commanded man, eat that tree. You need to eat that tree. So, to eat that tree, it says here in this verse, it's good for food, so you have to eat that tree. If you eat that tree, that means you take in that life. So the tree of life, as we eat the tree of life, we take in that life. And the tree of life here in Genesis signifies Christ, who is the real tree of life. In John 15, He said, I am the vine. I am the vine tree. In John 14:6, He said, I am the life. So Christ is the tree of life. So, man was made in the image of God, just like this glove was made in the image of a hand. And then God put man in a garden, but not just walking around aimlessly with all kinds of plants and flowers, but there was a big middle. And there was a tree right in the middle. And then God even said, eat that tree. So He is giving us a picture here to emphasize that that tree is good to eat. And when that tree is eaten, that means life comes inside. And just like that life could come inside of man, the hand, when it comes inside the glove, it can begin to express everything. The glove, which was made in the image of the hand, now it has power. Whatever the head says, then the glove expresses. Because there now is life in this glove. If I put other things in the glove, no way for the glove to fulfill its purpose. As a matter of fact, you might even call it, if you fill this with sand or something else, you would say it's not fulfilling its purpose. Right? But as soon as the hand gets in the glove, then the glove fulfills its purpose. And when man is filled with God Himself as life, you know what? Man can then begin to fulfill God's purpose.